Right, let's go old to new. Adam Boulder. He joined the R's in 2007. He played till 2009. He came in at a time where QPR were very lackluster, a bit of a weaker side. We didn't really have much of a backbone, and he came in. He was a battering ram of a central midfielder. He was a leader. He wore his heart on his sleeve, and he was a true out and out, just a battling ram. And he was so passionate, gritty, and he gave that sort of backbone that we needed in our side. When he came in, he helped us avoid relegation, and then he was named QPR captain. He did depart. He left on loan Sheffield Wednesday, and they did make his loan permanent. What did you guys make of Adam Boulder? What are we thinking for Adam Boulder? I'm not sure if many of you guys know. I've got some younger viewers. I'm not sure if you know Adam Boulder. Chuck in the comments now. What did you think of Adam Boulder? Look, we've got captain, leader, legend. We've got inspirational, leader, but did he quite lead the side fully himself? There's some other members that kind of led the side as well. Was he a part-timer? Did he, was he an influence? But, not always. Some of his actions kind of contradicted the good things in the side, or was he just straight out and out poor? What do we think? I was thinking he's kind of in between. He's kind of in between inspirational and leader, but can he lead? It's a tough one. So we've got Chris Checkley. He was decent, inspiration at the time. He also scored vital goals. That one at Charlton, dear. What an inspirational goal that was. Everyone's saying inspirational. Joey Barton-esque. I think at that time, he was the key leader in that side. So you can't really say leader, but can he lead? He's in between, isn't he? He was decent, inspirational. Do you know what? Let's go Adam Boulder, inspirational. He's kicking off that category. He wasn't a part-timer. For the time he was there, he was only there 2007, 2009. But at the time, he was a key role model, and he did help us kick on and kept us up. He was the key player in that side at the time. Now, coming on from the man that took over from Martin Rowlands, we've got Michael Lynch of Greenwest there, saying he was inspirational. Now, look, this man, Martin Rowlands, come on. What a player Martin Rowlands was. 2003 to 2012, with 198 appearances with the R's. That is monumental. Look, I know he had a couple of loan spells out. He didn't play those full 8 years. He helped us win promotion back to the second division. He played in every position where the team needed him. He did whatever it took to influence the R's. He played right back, right midfield, left back, I think left midfield as well, and of course central midfield. He won supporters player and players player twice. He won them both in 2 seasons. 2007 and 2008 campaign, he was made captain. Look, come on. Everyone's saying top tier, 110% captain, leader, and legend easily. What a man. Still comes back to the R's as a QPR fan. We're not pissing about it. Martin Rowlands is a QPR captain, leader, legend. If you disagree with that, then I'm not sure what you're doing on the stream. Put it in the comments, though, what you make of that one. But look, Martin Rowlands, he's up there. He leads the way at the top. Proper player, Rowley. Loved him and likes a good beer too. Yeah, he was a great man on and off the pitch. A proper leader. Led by example. And his impact on and off the pitch was phenomenal. G-Sun Park, best captain ever. We will get onto that one soon, Finley. Don't you worry about that. But there's no better way to kick off the top spot with the captain, leader, legend, Martin Rowlands. Right. Next up on the list, we got the man that, he came in, Mikel Leisurewood. I love this man. I thought he was a great player. You see, this is when football was so nitty gritty. At the moment, you got these luxury players that do all these fancy tricks and stuff. I think when we had those back in the day, the likes of Stanley Bowles, come on. But it was a lot more physical back then. And these players, Martin Rowlands, Adam Boulder, Mikel Leisurewood, proper footballers. They'd batter people for 90 minutes. And Mikel Leisurewood came in as captain in the absence of Martin Rowlands. He had 141 appearances for the R's, 2007 to 2011. He was present. He was a very fiery player. He had a ridiculous amount of cards. He spent a lot of time suspended, but he was a first-team regular in the midfield and right back. He captained in the absence of Rowlands, like I touched upon. He did fall out of favour toward the end of his spell under Warnock. There's a couple of other players that came in and kind of took the lead. What did we make of Mikael Leisure? We've got Michael Lynch coming here, part-time, I reckon, great player, but wasn't really leading on the pitch. Yeah, I think that's probably a fair shout. I was thinking leader, but can he lead / part-timer? He was a part-timer. He wasn't the out-and-out captain at the time. As I say, Martin Rowlands was. He came in absence of him. He probably was he was a part-time leader even when Rowlands was there. But do you know what, Michael? I think you're right. I think we're going to go Mikael Leisure leader. Oh, no, sorry, part-timer. I think he's a part-timer. What do people make about that one? Come on, everyone, get your comments in there. We are building onto the new ones. I'm sure there's some younger viewers that don't quite know too much about these. But Michael, I think you're spot on there because that is what I had in mind. We can move on now to the next man that took over from the reign of Mikael Leisure and Martin Rowlands. That was the main man. Well, I've lost my notes here. Fitzhall. One size fits all. He was a great ever-present in the promotion campaign. He was with the Yards from 2008 to 2012. 85 appearances. You think a few more, but a couple of injuries in there sort of hindered his time with the Yards. He was made captain by Warnock. When Warnock came in, I think it was 2009. Fitzhall was very surprised to be named captain when his quote here was, "I thought it's for one game, not for the whole season." He was maybe a man that he didn't need the armband to lead. There's a couple others like that throughout these time. But September 2010, he was made captain despite being with us from January 2008. He was a big member of the promotion winning side. And he did fall out of favour at the end of his reign when a newer came in the Premier League. What are we thinking for Fitzhall? We've got Chris Checkley saying here, he was a superb centre-back when we got promoted, but not a leader for me, a part-timer. Interesting. Big Fitz, inspirational, if not top tier. He's nothing like Joseph Fritzl. Inspirational, probably. Yeah, it's what are we thinking? He's not captain, need a legend. He was inspirational. A bit, towering centre-back. The amount of clean sheets we got in that promotion-winning campaign was phenomenal. He wasn't captain at that point. But another thing, he's one of those players that he didn't need the armband to lead. He led by example, and his performances were solid under his time at QPR. What are we thinking? Cormac saying very good player, inspirational probably. I'm thinking between these two, between leader, but can he lead, and inspirational. I think probably, leader, but can he lead is a bit harsh on Fitzhall. Probably inspirational. What do we think? Inspiration. Let's go inspirational. Fitzhall. Look, we can change some of these round at the end. Inspirational, I think, is fair for Fitzhall. I think that's fair. Now, come on. The next man, does that even need any introduction? Now, this man, Adel Taarabt. Now, this is one's going to be interesting. I'm really interested to see where you guys are feeling about this one because, look, Adel Taarabt, he wasn't your prime captain. He wasn't the man that went in at half-time and he rejuvenated the side. He turned you around. He lifted you up. He wouldn't put an arm on your shoulder. Even though he was the captain, he needed that himself. He had a very decorated QPR career. Let's say the first half of it. 2009, 2015, he was a QPR player. 157 appearances. And surprisingly, 36 goals. Now, you'd think that man scored more goals. Interesting. He was made captain in a promotion-winning campaign when we won the title. The team was built around him. We know he was made captain to give him that extra edge. Let's be honest, in that year, he wasn't the captain. Sean Derry and Clint Hill were the captains, but they had that discipline. They knew they didn't need the armband to lead. Let's have a look what you guys are saying on this one. It is an interesting one. Adel was a maverick, best player I've ever watched, but Derry, Fallen and Hill led that team, part-timer. It's a very good point. Inspirational and definitely a legend, but wasn't a leader. Michael Lynch, Adel legend of a player, but not sure if he's a top tier as captain. Individually class, but don't know if he was a leader. It's interesting. You've got leader, but can he lead? He led his performances led by example for Adel Taarabt. That's kind of the interesting part about it. Actions speak louder than words. Definitely, yeah. This is kind of what I'm getting on. He wasn't the vocal player on the pitch that influenced everybody's performances. You'd go out there and you look at Adel Taarabt and go, "Holy crap, that man's magic." We need to supply him. He kind of lifted in a different way, in his own way. It's interesting. I can't decide. I'm thinking that it's not fair to say Captain needed a legend because he wasn't a proper leader. He was inspirational in his own way. He was also a leader that didn't lead, and he was also a part-timer. So you could really put him in any of those middle three categories. What are we edging? People saying part-timer. Look, the thing for me is, if you remember as well, he's throwing a curveball in there. He has to be in the top tier. For me, no. And as well for these guys are all sort of on the same page. How can you be a captain when, I can't remember what game it was. It was a bit later on in his spell at QPR. He went off at half time, he was substituted, and he left. He got to the local bus stop and he just left the club. These sort of actions on off the pitch, his attitude stunk at times. So you can't really say captain needed a legend. People saying inspirational. Leader, but yeah, it was a Fulham game. Yeah, Chris, you're right there. The Fulham game. He wasn't a part-timer. Should we go inspirational? Maybe Adel Taarabt's the one that we come back to here. I think put him in inspirational because, like Cormac said, he did lead. Yeah, in his own way, he led. He led in his own way. We're going inspirational. Adel Taarabt is going in the inspirational category. He was an inspiration. Come on. How can his performances on the pitch not be an inspirational? I don't know. Adults have still dividing opinions. I've got Bakes in the Bud and how we doing, mate? He's got to be inspirational. Now, for some of the new viewers, these are coming. We're getting on to some of the new ones here that you'd be more aware of. Now, this man, Shaun Derry, absolutely loved Shaun Derry. He wore his heart on his sleeve like no other. And you could say that he was even captain when Taarabt was captain. Very vocal in the dressing room. 2010-2013, he was with the R's. 92 appearances. His tireless work ethic, leadership was infectious and ever present in that QPR side. What are we making on Shaun Derry? When he was our captain 2010-2011, he was the best. Don't talk about other years. We are talking about him as captain. Fair play. Are you talking about Taarabt or Derry there? Is that even a question? True leader, captain leader, legend. Get Adel back at the club. I'd love to. Derry isn't even a top captain leader legend. That goal against Liverpool. Come on. He scored one goal for QPR. What a goal that was. Top, in my opinion. What a leader. Come on. Let's not piss about. Shaun Derry. Let's put some respect on that man's name. Come on. We got Jay Baker, Derry at the top. Come on. Shaun Derry, as Michael saying, top tier. Absolutely love Shaun Derry. What a man. What a player. Now, we're going with a bit of a contradiction here. We're mixing it up because a complete juxtaposition in terms of leadership and how they conducted themselves at the R's. Ji-sung Park. Wow. Let this man. Come on. I don't even want to talk about him for too long because he was just dog shit. 20 times he played for the R's. Why we even signed him, I have no idea. 20 appearances. Hughes, of course, it was Hughes that made him captain. Upon his arrival, he didn't even play a game and he was captain, despite the players that were in that side. Ridiculous. Lots of injuries, poor form. He's with us from 2012 to 2014. I think we're all very sure on this one. Poor, bottom joke. No question about this one. Straight in poor. Go to the bottom. Poor Ji-sung Park, no question. Doesn't even deserve to be on the list. Fair play. Well past his best by the time he came to us. Poor look. Come on. We're not messing about. Ji-sung Park. I should have done it. Do you know what? I should have made my own category just for Ji-sung Park. It should have just been dog shit. And he could have sat himself in there. Yeah. Oh, we're rattling through these. Don't even know what was it? I don't know. QPR at that point was ridiculous. And that's mainly down to the point that we had Mark Hughes as manager. Well, we need to skip past this one. We didn't even to mess about with putting him in a category because we knew exactly what he was going into before that one. Now, come on. This man, Clint Hill. Now, I'm not lying to you in saying that, don't get me wrong, it's very close between Charlie Austin and Clint Hill. But Clint Hill is my favourite ever QPR player. For my time as being a QPR fan, I'm 20 years old. Clint Hill was I think he's my favourite ever QPR player. What do we make of Clint Hill? 2010, 2016, 169 appearances. Do you know what? I don't even care what you guys say. It's done. It's a done deal. Clint Hill, captain, leader, legend. That man, phenomenal. Harry Clark saying best on the list. I don't disagree. No brainer. Captain, leader, legend. Hill loves the club. Top. Should have his own category. He made a QPR fan. He wore his shirt with pride. Top tier, come on. That man. 169 appearances. Redknapp made him captain, following on from the abysmal Ji-sung Park. He was then renamed captain again for the 2013-14 campaign, where he led us to Wembley and back to the Premier League. And in my opinion, wrongly disregarded as captain when we were back in the Premier League. Clint Hill bullet headers were class. Loved his boots. What? That man, he just couldn't do enough for QPR. His passion was infectious. I know, I can't believe. He should have came back. Was it under Hasselbank? I think he came back on a trial and he wasn't offered a contract in the end. I think that day I nearly cried. I probably did cry. I don't know if you guys remember that one as well. Look, we'll have a debate afterwards about who is the best on that list. For me, could be Clint Hill. Could be Clint Hill. Interesting to see what you guys think about that one as well. Now, let's move on. The next man that came over and took the armband from Clint Hill was Joe Barton. Now, what a controversial spell at the club for Joe Barton. What are we thinking for this man? Interesting. 2011 to 2015, the man who joined from Tyneside, 93 appearances for the R's. Warnock made him captain on his debut following his arrival, disregarding Clint Hill as captain. Hughes continued him as captain as well, but he was stripped from his captaincy following his antics at Man City. What do we make of Joey Barton? Controversial, we've got from HD Pride. Leader, but can he lead? Marmite did some good things, but did some awful things too. Completely agree. Barton has to be in the third tier. Actually, quite a good leader and player. He defo gave his all. It's a shame he was so mental. Yeah, I do agree. Nick Evans is saying he's straight out class. Third, Barton is top tier. He played with his heart every game, and he did some wrong in the end. But yeah, no, I do agree. I would put him in leader, but can he lead? This is what I was edging towards. That is what I was thinking. We've got inspirational from Finn. Middle for Harry. Second for Jay Bakes. Third tier, so hot-headed. Yeah, that's where I'm thinking. He was a leader, don't get me wrong. So passionate, he was gritty, wore his heart on his sleeve. He was a leader, but can he lead? Can you lead in arguably the biggest game in his spell against Man City? We had to stay up. We had to get something from that game. And you go out there, you elbow an opposition player. Look, I can't comprehend what he did to Tevez, but what he did to the others, Aguero and Balotelli, he tried taking a player with him, trying to get another player sent off, so to level it out, so it's 10v10. But what he did to Tevez was ridiculous. You can't lead a side in the biggest game like that. For me, he's a leader, but can he lead? Can you do things like that, but lead your side? Not for me. Knew how to lead for sure, definitely. Yeah, he was a leader, but can he lead? Love the shithousery. Me too. I love that. Tier 3, good leader, but not a great role model. That's what it comes down to. Leader, but not a role model. And to be a leader, you have to lead by example. You can't just, you can't give the chat, but not back it up with your actions. Leader can't fault his passion or work rate. Barton was angry against City because of how they treated him. Yeah, I understand that, but you got to put the emotion aside. You got to get QPR result and keep him in the lead. Tevez did overreact, of course, but he shouldn't have put him in a position where he could overreact. I don't think he should be judged on that one. No, that's very true, but there was a lot of controversial things that Joey Barton did. When he left for Marseille, and he said some bad things about QPR. And for me, he's a leader, but can he lead? He had elements of his time at QPR where he was a captain leader legend. He was definitely a big voice in the dressing room. He was inspirational at points, but some of his actions hinder that status. Does he deserve to go in a category of Martin Rowlands, Sean Derry, and Clint Hill? Not for me. Not for me. So that is why he will be a leader, but can he lead? Now, moving on to another, a real veteran and great servant to the club. Nedum Anua. This man had 6 years with the R's, 207 appearances. He was first made captain by Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank right at the start of his reign as QPR manager. Sorry, I'm mistaken there. Chris Ramsey installed him as manager, and Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank continued his spell with the armband. A real good servant. He got a lot of stick at points. He got a lot of praise. Came in and out of favour. What do you guys make of Nedum Anua? What do you make of Nedum Anua? I remember thinking at the time, he's probably not the most. Not the most vocal. Sometimes, his performances. He didn't always lead by example. He has some very shaky performances. But what that man, he stayed with QPR throughout all the troubles. This one's going to divide opinion, I know it. Come on, let's get on to some of your comments. Let's see what you guys think. Inspirational. This is what I was kind of edging towards. COL. Oh, sorry. I was thinking he's been gobbledygook there. Captain of legend. Fair play. He was class. Anua has to be second top tier. People will put him lower because of how his time ended, and he was ultimately too old. But he led with passion, always rallied the troops. I do agree. With you there, Stan. Inspirational for me. Loved him. Inspirational, I'd say. Can only be captain of the legend for Big Ned. It's a fair argument. Don't get me wrong, that is definitely a fair argument. Anua, top tier, led. Is in difficult times. We need to stabilise ourselves as he did. We'll love Big Ned. I completely agree. Chief is mid-tier as a captain. He wasn't lead on the pitch, but was error prone too. Yeah, sometimes it's not always about your performances. You look, Sean Derry, he wasn't the best midfielder we've ever had, but look, he's up there, captain leader legend. Bang average, Ben Rowland has come in with. Paid too much to be a solid player. It's a fair point, but wasn't everybody at the time they came in and that you can't fault him for taking big money. At the end of his spell, I remember speaking to him outside the stadium and saying, "I'd love to stay, but I've not been offered a new contract." He was left in the dark about it. They never really told him he was going to be renewed. He wanted to stay, but he wasn't offered a deal. I remember his goal against Forest when 1-5-2. I was at the game. That one took us to the playoffs. Yeah, Ned was a fantastic servant to the club. Inspirational, solid centre back, but he did make a lot of mistakes. He was class, but not on the same level of Clint Hill and Derry, in my opinion. Completely agree. Arguably, yeah, he is on the same level as Barton. Second tier for me. I think even inspirational, maybe because of his loyalty to the club, got to be above Barton. Barton was getting 100k a week. Look, right, I'm going to give you my opinion now. There's some mixed ones about this. And yeah, loyalty stick to us following relegation. For me, Nedum Manua was inspirational. He was the rock behind all the transition, kind of the bad eggs throughout all that time with QPR. He stuck with it. He worked hard. Look, Nedum Manua was never the most blessed footballer, but he played well in big games. He stuck with it. He never really threw his toys out the pram like all these other players. That he came from Man City. He captained Man City. He came to QPR. And, he wasn't a bad egg. You got all these people that came from bigger clubs and thought they were bigger and better than QPR. Anua stuck with it. And that's why I think he was inspirational. His loyalty to the club was infectious. And, he wore off on a lot of people. And he was a positive member of the dressing room. Like I say, he was very error-prone. He had some howlers performances. But he was inspirational. And that's why I think that's only fair. Let's put some respect on the Chief's name. Come on. Now we're moving on to the last sort of 5 captains where, you look at the ones before and most of them, probably bar Ji-sung Park, have had long reigns as captain. Very justified in coming in. But I kind of argue that these sort of 5, the likes of Grant Hall, Tony Leishner, Angel Rangel, Johan Barbet and Jeff Cameron, they've kind of failed to make a big impact on the QPR side. They've never really held down the captaincy for a while. Grant Hall probably the most out of them, but interesting. Let's have a look then. Come on. Grant Hall. What do we make of Grant Hall as QPR captain? You remember, I think if you guys yourselves back to when he first came in on a trial. He signed a 2-year contract. When Grant Hall first came in, he was phenomenal. He was the best centre-half in the side. He was rock solid. He was commanding, great in the air, brought the ball out well. And that kind of early spell at QPR, he did really well under Hasselbank. I think when we played that 5 at the back, I don't know if you guys remember, I think what epitomised it perfectly well was Reading away. Holloway came in and he played the 5 at the back, and it was a very different sort of 5 at the back to the most conventional. He used a 4 at the back with Grant Hall as the 5th, that when QPR advanced with the ball, he'd step into midfield. He'd allow us to progress because he did offer quality on the ball. When we're on the back foot, he'd drop back between the 2 centre-halves and add some more depth. Very versatile. The problem with Grant Hall is that he was so injury prone, so many injuries that hindered his career. He really struggled with his mental health, coming in and out of that. And I thought, if he didn't have those injuries, he could have really he could have really kicked in and been a very strong QPR player. What have we got here? What have we got for Grant Hall? I'm just going to scroll up a little bit. Grant Hall is defo. I'm not sure what you mean by that one. His physicality used to bail him out of a lot of mistakes, which towards the end, I'm guessing that's on Anua, because Grant Hall isn't the most physical player. Everyone else left on this list is part-timer at best. We changed our captaincy regular. I mean, that's very true. Grant Hall, part-timer, was an okay captain, but he jumped ship at the end. Like I said, you can't be captain of a legend when you sort of, that's the way you depart from. You're not a legend if you do, you do those things. Hall, second tier. Hall got to be in the middle. Fair argument. Leader, but can he lead? Yeah, a bit on and off, which, into some regard, he can help. His injuries were very bad, ACL and injuries that he couldn't really shake off to. We've got Cameron we'll get on to Cameron in just a second. Hold on there. Part-timer, good centre-back, however, injured for most of his time. Such a shame, but he did leave. Could do with him now. Yeah, but, I think Grant Hall makes a lot of mistakes. Tier 4. Interesting. Hall middle tier, I think. Leader, but can he lead? Hall leader, but can lead. shame the way he left. 2 injury-prone part-timer. Middle. This really shows a lack of leaders. That's something that really highlights me. You make a good point, Michael. I look back and have gone, surely not. It was actually very hard finding out our captains. There's nowhere on the internet has a list of clubs' captains. It's interesting. I had to use the help of Twitter. I did a lot of research to try and compute this list. But you look back at our last 5 captains, you think, pony. It's been probably Clinton Hill was captain in probably 2014. It's been about 7 years since we had a captain leader legend. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. People thinking part-timer. The injury in 2017 to 2018 ruined him, unfortunately. Never the same answer to that. Last season, he was dog. He was crap last year, but so was our defence. Good point. Part-time. Grant Hall was a good captain, but didn't he... sorry, I don't really mean that. I could say about he had way too many goals. Who scored important goals. He did, he scored 5 goals in the last campaign with the R's. Look. It's a tough one because you could go part-timer because of simply disregarding his strength and his qualities as a leader and captain because he was simply injured way too much. Or do you go leader, but can he lead? I'm on the fence about this one. Definitely wasn't as good as Barton. Cormac, you've tipped me over the edge there. Yeah, let's go part-timer. That is a bit harsh. I think he did. He did love the R's, but a lot of people saying it has to be part-timer. Below Barton for sure. Got to be part-timer. He's not the same. Yeah, Barton should be higher if so. Fair enough. Okay, I think we're all kind of resolute on part-timer for Grant Hill. Now, interesting one. I mean, they're all quite interesting. I've said that thing every single one. But I do find it interesting what you guys think about all of these. Next man on the list. Let's get rid of that comment. The big fucking German. Excuse my language. Tony Leishner. 30. He was 30 years old when he became QPR captain. What do we make about the BFG? 71 appearances for QPR. 43 under McLaren and 22 under Warburton. Now you see that sort of transition from that dominating centre half where he was backed by McLaren. Don't get me wrong, he was not dominating at the back under the first 4 games when we lost 7-1 to West Brom. Sorry, McLaren made him captain, and Warburton just simply didn't rate him, did he? Warburton did not rate him. Now, I found a comment that I think completely epitomises Tony Leishner at QPR. And it's from Josh Beavan. Right player, wrong time. Spot on. If you had, for example, a Tony Leishner under Neil Warnock, he'd be phenomenal. People saying part-timer, poor. Interesting. I love Tony Leishner. Leishner, in the same category as Barton, brilliant leader, and he was experienced head. Maybe the language barrier is tough for him. Fair point. Poor. He can get in the bin and wants to leave the club the whole time. Look, I think, it's tough. Tony Leishner, I don't think it was the club. I think it was the way he was treated under Warburton that made him want to leave the club. I think he loved the fans. I think the fans backed him. I think he was a good captain under his time with McLaren. But to be stripped of your captaincy, going from McLaren to Warburton and drop to the sideline, do you blame him for wanting to leave? He wasn't really promised much first team football. 22 appearances under Warburton, but a lot of those were off the bench and only because of injuries. What do we think? I still think he was a good player. What do we think? Leishner was crap at the back, but at the same time, probably not bad either in the dressing room. Warburton didn't rate him because he was a terrible defender. Fair point. Fair point. People were saying Hall was better. Yeah. Look, I was thinking leader, but can he lead? But then to say he was a better captain than Grant Hall, it's a tough one. In fairness, BFG could lead. I think he could. BFG was class. Tony did have a lot of experience. He only wanted to leave because he was homesick. It's a fair point. See, I don't think it was because of QPR he wanted to leave in terms of the fans, the club. It was being stripped to captaincy, out of favour, homesick. What can you do? Part-timer at best. Even DeWish could still use Leishner for squad depth now, yeah. Maybe in another QPR team he could have fared better. I think that's a fair point. In another period with different managers' play style, he could be in conversation with top tiers. Completely agree. Good player equals, yeah, good. It's fair play. I thought he was okay, just slow. Yeah, he was, but that was kind of his game, you know. He won so many headers, but he was prone to mistakes at the back. Part-time, he was only captain for a year, which we came in the bottom six. Fair point. That is a fair point. BFG is a legend because of Forest away. Fair point again. I like BFG. Don't think he was the leader. He was good until Warburton came in. He probably one of the first names in the team sheet for that. BFG legend. Guys, so many contradicting comments here. So many contradicting comments. Is it fair to put him above Grant Hall? Is it fair to put him above Grant Hall? Is he the same level as Joey Barton? Yeah, he was atrocious at this. Elijah was good, but also Trap did not work for him. We just didn't play tactics that flattered him. We did not play to his strengths at all. A B-Tech Dicky. Fair play. Fair play. Put Tony in 2010 team, he would have done better. Yeah, in that that Warnock side, he'd have been class. He would have been class. I'm thinking part-timer or a leader, but can he lead? Someone's got to tip me over the edge here. I'm stuck. Yeah, that is probably a fair point. As a captain, he was better than Hall, but not as a player. Grant Hall was a better player, but I think Tony Leishner was a better captain. You're probably right, Cormac. Probably right. Well, how do you feel if I do this? Leader, but can he lead? How do you feel? I feel like, but can he lead is fair because under the right circumstances, he could be inspirational. He could be better. I don't think he was treated fairly. So do you know what? I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to say leader, but can he lead? Yeah, I think that's fair. A few are going to disagree. A few are going to agree with that. But let's go with it. Let's go with it. Let's go with it. Right, let's have a look how we're doing now because how are we doing? So we are on. The stream is on 24 likes. Can we smash 40 likes on the stream? And I will bring you maybe another tier list on. I was thinking we could go ranking QPR strikers, QPR goalkeepers, centre halves. We could do it all through work through starting 11, going back 10, 15 years. There's a lot of things we could do. QPR kits. Go down there, smash the like button if you want to see some more live tier lists. If you like these streams, then we will do more. If you don't, then we'll do something else. You guys have got to let me know. 40 likes on the stream, and I will bring you a new one, another tier list as well. The content's got to be what you guys want to watch. There's no point me making it. If you guys, people are saying strikers would be good, keepers. That's it, True Blue. Smash the like button. Very much appreciate all you guys being in the stream right now. I know it's dreary. I know there's no QPR on. We're on 34 likes. You've upsurged there. 40 likes, and I'll bring you another tier list. Right, moving on. We have got Angel Rangel. Now, what do we make of Angel Rangel? I love that man. I've already got an idea where I think he deserves to be. Interesting to see what you guys think about it. Interesting. He came to us when he was... completely disregarding you here. Tier list on best away wins. That would be a good one. That would be an absolute corker. Midfielders would be good. Yeah, people liking the idea of that. So if you like the stream, you give it a share, then I'll bring you some more. 134 likes. You've got to smash 40. Got to smash 40. Okay. Right. Definitely a great leader, but it has to be part-timer. Interesting. Right, you guys are kind of contradicting what I was thinking here. Love that girl, but has to be part-timer due to his lack of appearances. Now, this is the interesting bit about it. Do you go on kind of their performances and how much they played, on how much they had an impact in that regard, or do you just go on their personality, their qualities, and how good they were on the chances they had? It's a tough one, isn't it? Because you can look at, say, Grant Hall and say, look, he's a good player, but he didn't play enough, so it's hard to. Leishner is the perfect example. He had the qualities to do it, and given the right setup, he could have been very inspirational, but he didn't have that. So how do you judge him? It's tough, isn't it? It's tough. What angle do you look at it? Come on, let's have a look what you guys got to say. Was good, but old and past his best. Fair point. Mid-tier, great guy, but was too late in his career to be top 2 levels. It's a fair point. Rangel weren't permanent captain, but clearly great guy and experience would make him great leader. Yeah. So Angel Rangel came as captain as a result of Tony Leishner's departure to the German league, back on loan because he was homesick, and we know all about that. So he came and stepped in. But the thing is, I think Angel Rangel was probably the unofficial captain as well in that side. His experience with all those young players was great. He led by example, and I hear he was just a fantastic pro. What he did in the training ground and off the pitch, I hear was just phenomenal. He may not have led in terms of his groundbreaking performances, but how vocal he was on the pitch, his influence in the dressing room, how he conducted himself on and off the pitch was, what I hear, inspirational. I know he wasn't at his peak. His performances weren't phenomenal, but that's kind of my take on it. Anyway, loved him, but only played a few games as captain. Yeah, this is true. We have Rangel at the end of his career. If we had him peak Swansea, he'd be inspirational. Fair point. Sorry, I just skipped past a few there. Tough one. Definitely led. Always performed well. Always had a good thing to say about Rangel. Completely agree. Poor old. He was in Loftus Erie's not taking fondly to Angel Rangel, is he? Fair point. It's true. He was at the end of his career. He was past his peak. I feel like he did a job though for the hours. Has to be. He does. He had quality as captain and legend. He had elements of part-time. I don't know. Tough on this. Personality and how they play great guy for the dressing room and for the youngsters, no doubt. Rangel's lack of performances wasn't his fault considering his age and injuries. Still a good leader. I reckon same tier as Barton. Fair point there. He's ranking captain list, not who's the best leader. So he has to take into account their time as captain. Yeah, that is a very good point. It is easy to... But at the same time, these were nominated captains. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. What angle do you take on this? Got to be balanced. The perfect personality to be inspirational. This is what I was thinking. I was thinking inspirational. Definitely was going to have at the club. Great advice to the young players. Rangel didn't really impact the team. Nice guy, but didn't really live up to the mark. He set up clubs. Rangel, he pissed all over Tokke in that season. He was leader to the youth and did bring experience, so in that case could be high. If he's inspirational, you have to drop Leishner. Where do you think Leishner should be? Part-timer then? Got to be part-timer. Barely paid as captain. Yeah. He reminded me of Clint Hill vocally. Oh, God, this is a tough one. Tough one. Right, tip me over the edge. Look, I originally thought that if you looked at that, I think if Fitz Hall and Neda Manua's there, and you think Neda Manua sort of wasn't always the best performer, came in and out of the side, I think if Neda Manua is inspirational, then Rango Rango's got to be inspirational. I think what hinders Barton and Leishner's ability to be inspirational is how, number one, Leishner kind of had a bit of a sulk and wanted to leave. Joey Barton threw his toys at the pram at points, and as well wanted to leave, went on loan. Angel Rangel absolutely loved the club, did all he could for the club. The injuries and his age was against him, and that's why I wouldn't put them in inspirational. How can you be inspirational if, you know, the biggest game of your QPR career, you elbow someone in the face, you get sent off? How can you be inspirational for Tony Leishner if you want to leave the club out on loan? You go a bit out of favour and you want to leave. You don't fight to win your captaincy back. Angel Rangel did everything he could to be at QPR. Oh, do you know what? I'm going to stick on my guns for this one. I'm going to go inspirational. We can come and review it at the end. True Blue say not inspirational enough at this time in the club. What he did on and off the pitch was very key for the young players we had at the time. And I think he was inspirational. He was inspirational to the young players. He was a great professional. And hence, he was inspirational to the younger players. I'm going inspirational. A lot of you are going to disagree with that. I think Angel Rangel was inspirational to the rest of the QPR side. Sometimes as a captain, it's not always what you do on the pitch. Not always what you do on the pitch. You know, speaking to some of the people, they say that Angel Rangel, one of the best pros I've ever seen. Yeah, and I think a lot of people did. You look at the rise of Bryce A. Samuel for that time as well. So yeah, that's what we're going to go with. Now this one is Johan Barbe. He had a very short captaincy. 53 appearances for his time at QPR. He became captain at the age of 27. He had a very short stint when the season was resumed. He came in as captain when the season was resumed with COVID until the end of the season. But what's interesting is that, you know, Warburton does like to bum lick Johan Barbe, excuse my language, but he made Cameron captain. And the quote that I found when Cameron came in as captain, he said, "We made Jeff Cameron captain to allow Johan to concentrate on being a top quality centre half." Interesting. Now, for me, that screams part timer. If you can't focus on benefiting yourself as a player, and being a captain is so consuming, then you're not an out and out leader. It's, you know, taking that extra energy to become a leader. You should be a natural born leader. It should be something that comes part of you as a person, as a player. He doesn't lack natural leadership qualities. So what do you guys think? Part-timer. Great footballer, awful defender. Yeah, it's a fair point. Barbe would have been a good leader, no doubt, but he's so clumsy and error-prone. Completely agree with you there. Barbe was a good leader coming with Warbs. He loves the club along with Masterson and helped him improve good crossing. Yeah, fair point. Good footballer, but not a captain or a leader. Come on, I think it's quite simple where we're edging with this one, isn't it? Johan Barbe, I think he was just a part-timer. He wasn't quite poor. I think that's unfair. I think we were all very surprised when it was announced that that he was captain. I thought it was going to be Don Ball. I think Barbe leads for sure, but I think wrong time for him. First real season at the club and didn't have much time at Brentford. It's a fair point. I think it's probably the first time he's been captain. And it was under challenging circumstances, obviously, when the season was reviewed with COVID and everything. So when we came back off lockdown, he was shite. We had to score more than we conceded. We were shocking. Let's not get it wrong. The time he was captain, we were abysmal. So part-time is probably about right. I think Barbe, I like Barbe. He scored goals as well. He's only scored one goal for QPR. One goal as well. He does talk a lot in games. It's tough. I think part-time is fair for Johan Barbe. He was a part-timer. He only was captain for a couple months. Quick question. Who should start, in your opinion, alongside Dickey? I play those three. Completely off topic, and I don't mind, all questions are welcome. I'd take Cameron out of the back three, and I'd have those I've had Dickey, Divish, and Barbe. And then obviously we'll have to see whether it's Samuel on the left and then Kane on the right. Yeah, I think part-time. Common trend of making captains too early. Yeah, I agree. Would you remember Barbe playing for QPR Brentford? I don't know. He's only 27. He's got his time ahead of him. To find some form and really kick on in his QPR career. Cameron helped. We'll get on to Cameron in just a second. Yeah, I think it will still be the three at the back, and I feel like hopefully Cameron will be dropped today because his performance has been good enough lately. But we've gone Johan Barbe as part-timer. Now coming on to the current QPR captain, Jeff Cameron. He's became captain at the age of 35. He's made 77 appearances up to date with QPR. Not too much to say about his time. It's the same with these last couple captains, really. Jeff Cameron, Johan Barbe, Tony Leishner, Grant Hall. Nothing's happened. Nothing's happened at the time of their leadership. Well, we've been very, we've just stayed where we are. We've just stuck to being average. People saying piss poor. Cameron was a good captain, the club, the Comrades, but he wasn't the best defender. Yeah, better than Park, but still poor. I'll play Barbe at left wing. Interesting. I don't think Barbe's got the pace to play left wing back, in my opinion. He's too slow. Jeff Cameron hasn't done much, probably good behind the scenes, but ain't big enough on the pitch. And what he does, he plays shy. If we're talking about dropping him then surely he has to be poor. But that's the thing. Being a captain, it's not all about your performances. You look at Sean Derry. Don't get me wrong, he was a good player, but he was never phenomenal. But he's up there, captain, he's a legend. Same with Clint Hill. Sometimes he'd make a few mistakes. He'd be a bit prone. He'd get caught out on the counter attack, but he's a captain, he's a legend. It's not all about performances. Don't get me wrong, performance is 70%. You got to lead by example, but it's what you do on and off the pitch as well. Should be a squad player, not captain. Wolves faith. I don't understand it either. I don't understand why he's captain. I don't understand why he's playing me week in, week out. But you move. And that's what it is. Come on, everybody in the stream. 5 likes away from 40 likes, and I'll bring you another tier list. Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. Some of the older captains. We're only just doing the past 15, just for today's video anyway. Cameron should be leader, but can they lead? He was experienced whenever there's something going on. Example, the black racism thing. He always stood up and said something on behalf of the squad. It's a fair point. That is a good point. Cameron will leave at the end of the season anyway. Boulder Barbe could become. Fair point. Yeah, as a possibility. I agree. Not always about performances, but as a good captain, fans should want him to be. Yeah. Along with this, he's a longer servant. Is he? Probably, isn't he? You look at the squad here. Probably Lumley, no? Maybe Lumley, longest servant player. Only 77 appearances, though. Right. Where are we going with Jeff Cameron? Do we go part-timer or leader? Can he lead? That's what I'm thinking. Come on, tip me over the edge. Tip me over the edge. He's a better captain. Leo saying with BSG. Roger saying Cameron's a part-timer. Cameron equals leader, but can he lead? Oh, we're very split on this one. We're very split. He's not the same level as Joe Barton, is he? What have we got? We got Lucy saying part-timer. I'd say part-timer. I think he's got to be part-timer, isn't he? Part-timer. We're agreeing with part-timer. Come on. Jeff Cameron, he's not leader, can we lead? He's part-timer. He's not on the level of Joe Barton. He's not on the level of Joe Barton. He brings experience, what we need, but can Cameron should stick around the club. We're attracting best experience at the moment. Torre, etc. Charlie Austin. Young players need to take advantage of the situation. Yeah, we're all saying part-timer. Well, at least we all agree on that one, because that one could have gone either way. But when I think about it, he's not on the same level as Joe Barton, is he? People, all right. Chuck in now if you think there should be some changes. Leo's saying Joe Barton should go up one. Saying Joe Barton should go up one. Interesting. The top three have to stay the same way. Martin Rowlands, Sean Derry, and Clint Hill, captaining legends all day long. Michael saying Barton up one. Barton up one. Interesting. To be fair, if I'm putting Angel Rangel and I think Nedum Manua in inspirational, then maybe Joe Barton does deserve to go into inspirational. Because he can lead. He can lead. It's just some antics hindered his time at the club. Right, let's have a look. Before I start moving around, let's have a look what you guys are commenting. So we've got Barton up one, Anua up one. Okay. Do you really think Anua is the captain of legend? I'm not sure I agree. Taarabt up one. Can you be a legend with some of the way he conducted himself his time? I'm not sure. Leishner down one. You could put Leishner down one. You definitely could. Anua up. I'm not sure. Barton up one. Cameron up one. And Taarabt down one. Oh, God, they're all flying around. Angel down one. Hall up one. Anua, great guy. And great leader when we started to get more. People were saying Taarabt down. Oh, we're never going to get to a resolution here. Okay, this is what I'm going with. We're moving Joe Barton up because I think he wasn't inspirational. I think Grant Hall is a decent captain. Maybe I think Grant Hall deserves to go up. I think you're right, Tom. People saying Hall up one. Right, we're moving Grant Hall up. Yes, Noah. Live watch along is back for the Cardiff game on Wednesday. Don't you worry about that. I don't think Taarabt deserves to go up. I don't think he does. Because at the end of the day, Tarabt's not a leader. He was only made captain to put an arm around his shoulder and give him a kick out the backside. People saying Taarabt down one. Taarabt down. I think Adel Taarabt was a great player, but not really a leader. Let's be honest, he's not, is he? He's really not. Okay, so what are we? Right, let's go work through. Unless there's anything that need drastic changing. Ji-Sung Park, bottom tier, no shadow of a doubt in my mind. He has to stay there. Jeff Cameron, Johan Barbe, and Mikael Leisurewood, part-timers. I agree with those three. Leader, but can he lead? Tony Leishner and Grant Hall. I think that's fair. Inspirational, Adam Boulder, Fitz Hall, Adel Taarabt, Nedum Manua, Angel Rangel, and Joe Barton, all inspirational. And captain legend, Martin Rowland, Sean Derry, Clint Hill. I'm happy with that, boys and girls. I'm happy with that. Josh agrees. Can't move Adel down. He was inspirational as a footballer, if not as a captain. How much did he live the fantasy? Yeah. I think we're pretty close to a list we can all agree with there. But what we're not close to is the 40 likes on the stream. If you haven't liked the stream already, come on, press the the like button. Agree with that. Think you've nailed it. No, come on. It's a group decision, Michael. I think we've smashed it there. I think those three at the top, they're spot on. I think they're spot on. None of those six deserve to be captain of legends, in my opinion. And I don't really think any of those deserve to be leaders, but can they lead? We've got a curveball coming here at the end. Elevate Taarabt as a club legend. I think I'm wrong. For his performances, not as a leader. I'm not so sure. How many of the players up there in our team were just there for the money? I can only see 4 that were not. So let's go through then. Interesting. Those top at the 3-1. Jay Barton was there for the money. I don't see too many. G-Sutton Park, yes. I don't know. I think there's quite a few there that you said for money. That I think you're overestimating that. Top 3, none of those. Which I can only see 4 that weren't. So you're saying that 11 of them were there for the money. Interesting. I don't quite see that. Look at the years that they were captain for it, and it shows why we've been so poor. That if you look at our last 5 captains, it's not good enough, is it really? Jeff Cameron, Jurgen Barbe, Angel Rangel, Tony Leishner, and Grant Hall. They're pretty abysmal. Right. I think we've nailed on there. That is our complete list. If you want to chuck in some more questions and have a little chat about QPR at the current moment, you can chuck some in the comment section now and we can get onto those. No problem. We will be back for another live stream Wednesday night at the game against Cardiff. Back for a live watch along, so make sure you come in and tune for that. Drop in the comments now. What did you make of this tier list? Do you want to see more tier lists? Let me know in the comment section. Interested to see what you guys make of it. Yeah, that is the completed tier list. Thank you to everybody who jumped in the stream today and had an opinion on all of that. There were some ones that could have gone either way, some controversial ones, but I feel like we've made some good decisions there. Thank you to everybody again who's jumped in the stream. Massively appreciate it. Yeah, I think we've come to a good conclusion. Well, let's call it a day. Thank you to everybody again. Thank you. I keep on repeating myself. But yeah, appreciate all the support on the channel at the moment. We'll be back on Wednesday night. I look forward to seeing you all then. Wednesday night, is it even at 7 o'clock or 7:45? I'm not too sure. Make sure you drop a like on the stream, give it a share, and drop a comment as well what you want to see. We've got a great tier. Thank you. Where would you put Don Ball if he was captain? That is a cracking question. But, you know, you have to see in hindsight of how he does as captain. At the moment, I'd probably say leader, but can he lead? We'll have to see. Yeah, you know what? I completely forgot. How dare I? Who is the ultimate captain on that list? Roger's going Clint Hill. I'm going Clint Hill. Chuck in the comment section now. Who is the best captain on that list? Great stream. Thank you, Michael. More tier lists. Thank you. Yeah, we'll bring you some more. No problem. Clint Hill, legend. What a man. Hill. Everyone's going Hill. Possible captain next season. Dieng, Dicky, Barbe, Ball. I think they're good shouts. Yeah, do you know what, HD Pride? How can you forget G-Sutton Park? He's probably the best captain on the list, isn't he? Hill, but Derry not far behind. It's a good point. Martin Rowlands as well. Great servant of the club. You got to love Martin Rowlands. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Appreciate all your comments. URs, love your channel. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Look, all comments, positive, negative. I want to hear the feedback. We've got to keep the channel improving. Need to keep Dieng. We really do. He's phenomenal. He is phenomenal. So that's the conclusion. This is our completed tier list. I'm happy with that, and I'm very happy that you guys agree with me that Clint Hill is our best captain. Interesting. I thought this as well. I did some research. Kasper Gorks was never QPR captain. I think there could have been a couple. I saw a couple comments of people that, you know, wore the armband for a game, or maybe were captain when someone got substituted off, but I didn't include those. Otherwise, the list could be endless. Next season, backup keeper Lumley or Kelly. That's tough, isn't it? I think Lumley. I think for me, Kelly is more consistent. He's like consistently average, but Lumley can be very good, but very bad. That's my kind of take on those two. I thought Joe Lynch. Yeah, I think he wore it for a couple of games. I think maybe when Tony was injured and Hall was injured, but he was never picked as captain. So, yeah, people's coming to the same question there. Yeah, go Lumley. Go Lumley. Thing is, yeah, the gap between these 3 and these 6 is massive. It is massive. Next season back up, yeah. So, right, let's call it a day. I'll let you get back on me Sundays. I hope you're having a nice roast or something tasty. That was your QPR fix. Now, this is something I agree with. Rob Dickie has the potential. He is going to be QPR captain, in my opinion. Rob Dickie, I love Rob Dickie. Yeah, McLaren did, didn't he? He loved Joe Lynch. He did. Right. Let's call it a wrap then. That was the end of the stream. Thank you to everybody jumping in, giving your opinions and commenting. I think we've got a good tier list there. I'm happy with that. So I will see you on Wednesday night for the live watch along. Looking forward to it. Make sure you tune in. Make sure you give it a share. And we'll be back on Wednesday night. Thank you to everybody for jumping in the stream. And make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Drop the stream a like. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Enjoy your weekend. Tune in out. Enjoy. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.